There is nothing as beautiful as friendship. We humans are social creatures, and to not be social is arguably not to be human. Now, I have spent an enormous amount of time in solitude the last 3 years of my life. I've lived for 2 of those years in a place with no family, no friends for a good portion of those times. And I mean real friends. And I did develop friends towards the end of some trips, towards the beginning of others. But for the most part, I walked a solo path. And I started questioning if relationships were something worth investing in. I started falling in love with solitude and started regarding time not in solitude as a waste of time. But I'm starting to change those views. And I'm starting to realize how beautiful relationships, friendships are, and how paramount they are to the human existence. I wanted to adapt. I wanted to have the view of the Stoics, that the Stoic, or the wise man, needs no friends. He is completely content in and of himself. And this wasn't to say that I didn't want to have any friends, but if I was in solitude and I felt like I wanted to hang out with somebody, I often wouldn't allow myself, because I thought I was running away from a problem that could be solved, but not through friendship, not through relationship, through more alone time, through more silence, through more contemplation. And now I see how beautiful relationships are, how amazing it is to go on a hike with a friend, to make a new friend, to realize you have so much in common with somebody that moments before you didn't even know. And this trip I'm on has helped me do that. With staying in hostels, I have met many people. And I've met people who, in such a short time, I feel like I've known for so long, developed such strong and real relationships with. And I think no company is better than bad company. But I don't know if anything's better than good company. So, yeah, just if you're not allowing yourself to get out of your solitude because you think it's, I made videos talking about if you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company. And I still do believe that, but I think at times it's nice to do things with people. It's nice to have loved ones. It's nice to have friends. It's nice to have family. And life wouldn't be worth living if you were the only human being on earth. If you were the only human being on earth, what would be the point? I mean, I only make these videos to help people. I mean, myself included, but still, I wouldn't post them if it wasn't to help people. All humans are connected to humans. I think that is I don't really know if we came from apes, if we came from God, if the earth is 2,000 years old, if it's, 2 billion, I don't know. But I do think that the only reason humans flourish is because of how social we are, because of how we understand reciprocity, because of how we work together, and how we sacrifice for other people. You know, no other animal sacrifices like human beings sacrifice for the common good, for others. We do things for no return. We give our time, our lifespan, our money, resources, our food, our water to people. What other animal does that other than a mother? Human beings do it for people they have never met, just because it feels like the right thing to do. And if you were the only person on this earth, what would be the point? Your solitude is only beautiful because it's limited. It's only beautiful because it has an end in sight. You know deep down, when you're 2 hours deep immersed in solitude, meditation, journaling, hiking, this, that, or the other, you know it's going to come to an end. That's why it is so beautiful. Because you know you're going to derive. And what else is the point of our solitude than being a better human being? Than coming back to the world better, to being kinder, to being more forgiving of faults. What else is the point of solitude? I mean, it's not to, flex your ego. It's not to do anything of this nature. It is solely so you can come back to society a better person, kinder, wiser, happier. Because, sometimes solitude is selfish. But, in an airplane, they tell you to put your mask on first. That is selfish. But when you look deeper into it, it is the most selfless thing you can do to say, I'll put my mask on first so I can help 2 people, instead of rushing to put on the mask of my son or my daughter. Because, I might get theirs on, but when I pass out, they're not getting mine on. And they may survive this, but they no longer have a parent. Selfishness is sometimes the most selfless thing you can do. And if you're not in a good headspace and you need solitude, you have to be the person who realizes that. You have to be the person who understands this. You have to be the person who makes time for solitude in service to being a better person, to coming out of your solitude ready to embrace the crowd, to embrace people, to help them see that which they have not and you believe you have. But also to be willing to be shown things that you have not seen yourself. That is the only point of our solitude. And when your solitude starts getting in the way of being a better person, of helping out more people, of being kind, then it is not worth it. It is not worth it. And I still love solitude. Don't get me wrong. And I have an addictive personality for sure. So moderation for me is hard. And I can even see it when I immerse myself in relationships with friends or with family. I have a hard time finding the balance. I spend a day with a friend, and then the next day, solitude is harder for me. Solitude is easier when it is in succession. But when you go in and out of it, in solitude, you can find yourself yearning for a friend. And with a friend, you can find yourself yearning for solitude. And that is truly a pity. to not be where you are, if your mind is not where your feet are, you simply aren't there. And there's no greater pity than not being where you are. The present moment is all we ever inhabit. The future is doubtful. The past is dead. The present is all that is certain. The present is all you have. So there does come if you're like me, you do have to remind yourself that solitude is still essential. Don't just because you spent a week with people doesn't mean you should change your whole way of living and not do the things that you want to do just so you can be around people. Yes, sometimes adjusting your plans to, go on a hike with somebody is the thing to do. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just gotta go on that hike alone. You can't wait for people. You can't put yourself in a situation where someone may join. You just gotta go for it and enjoy your solitude. And then when the opportunity arises to go for a hike with somebody, it just naturally happens. Don't deny it. Don't seek your solitude when you were just recently seeking relationships. And don't seek relationships when you were just recently seeking solitude. Because you'll find yourself not enjoying neither your solitude nor your experience with others. But yeah, I think it's amazing to remember that, solitude's essential. Yes, time alone. Yes, contemplate. Yes, leisure. Yes, read. Yes, write. But a world with no human beings is not worth living. Contemplation is not worth if you were the only human. Writing is not worth. Leisure is not worth. There is no point if you are the only human. And I think that realization should really help you understand how social of a creature we truly are. What other animal would come to that conclusion? They wouldn't. When an animal is about to go extinct, when the last animal, male or female, is about to go extinct, they don't just keel over and die. They don't just give up. They live their life normally. They don't even realize it. And, that's obviously due to a lot of factors, but still, I think it's valuable to understand that. I think a human is the only one who would just lose all hope if he was the only one left, or she. So remember, what your contemplation is in service to, what your solitude is in service to, is to being a better person. It's to helping others. It's to getting rid of your faults, one fault at a time. That is what it is all in service to.